everyone, welcome to Game On, our second episode of this week. And as I said in our previous episodes earlier in the week, we'll be picking up on quizzes this time. So it's this week in history, first of all. One from Everton, one from Liverpool. Myself and Pricey will be looking back at Everton's trip to Nuremberg in 2007, which is a successful one. And the Reds will be looking back at a derby which Nick Barmby crossed the park and also scored. Fantastic memory for us. We'll then be following that up with Who Am I? So it's a feature that we've done for quite some time. Pricey will be giving us some clues as to an ex-Liverpool player, an ex-Everton player. We'll have 5 clues in total. The challenge for you guys at home is to see how fewer clues it takes you to get it. So top points for anyone and so on. We'll try and not give the answer away. We'll probably just give a little indication that we might know it at that particular point. We'll try and not cheat. And we'll be finishing at the end of it with higher or lower. Sometimes you'll have plenty of these and then 3 questions, 5 questions, whatever. This time it's only going to be 3. So it's going to be, again, I think the Nick Barmby related.
Nick Barmby's the theme, yeah.
So it's topical, fantastic. What a week it is. Okay, so we're going to kick off with a bit of positivity. Hasn't been a fantastic few weeks for the Blues, but we are going to look back at what was a very fun memory for us as Blues and a good team, wasn't it, Pricey? So the David Moyes team of 2007. So to jog the memories of the viewers or the listeners, it was across the back 4 was Yobo and Lescott centre back. Valente, I think in a second spell maybe at Everton was left back. We had Tony a bit right back. Centre mid or midfield was Carsley, Cahill, and Carsley, Cahill, and wasn't Arteta.
Arteta, no.
It wasn't Arteta. It was on the right. I'll come back to that in a minute. Pina was on the left, and we had Yakubu up front. Trying to think who else was centre mid with Carsley and Cahill. Osman, yeah, there as well. So remember, they had quite a fluid thing going on between. It was like a 4-2-3-1, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Like before 4-2-3-1 was a thing.
Yeah.
4-5-1. It was 4-5-1 for David Moyes, wasn't it?
Yeah. What my favourite? I was saying before is my favourite team. That I think that I've had. Bar maybe the Martinez first season. I think that's my favourite team. We had some success as well. The game you're going about there was that the game we took over the behind the goal, was it in Nuremberg? All the Everton fans.
It was there was a full house that night. To be fair, I'll admit I did watch the highlights back today just to remind myself of some of the scenes. I wasn't one of the fortunate ones to go to that game. I think I was working, to be honest. But I remember watching it. It was on Channel 5. Remember Channel 5 used to have the Europa League games, or it wasn't the Europa League at the time. It was the UEFA Cup still, wasn't it? Was it the Europa League then? I don't remember.
I don't know.
It was the Europa League, wasn't it? Because it was still group stages and stuff. But anyway, Channel 5 had it at the time, so I was watching some of the highlights on there. I think it was reported that we got 8,000 tickets, but it was more like 14,000 fans there. So it was like a Riverside type stadium they had, and we had like the kind of L shape, almost half of the stadium in the end.
Yeah.
The roar when we scored the first goal with Arteta, it is like with a home team. And it was one of those games, and I think looking back at the highlights and remembering watching it, it was a proper David Moyes-esque performance where we didn't take any risks in the first half. We just put the ball in the channels. We stayed behind the ball, got a few set pieces, and I admit it, I think it was Victor Anchibi who changed the game for us in the end.
He's done that a few times, didn't he, Anchibi, when he used to come on and change the game, like either by being a presence up front that he just held it up, or by nicking a goal. Did he nick 1 or 2 in that game? Did you say?
Yeah, he won a penalty.
I can't remember.
His first involvement was the ball gets played up to him and he pins their centre back and kind of rolls him.
Yeah,
proper German centre back just all over him, grabbing him everywhere, and then tries to tackle him from behind. They give a penalty. Arteta puts it away. And then the second one is similar, where it just gets played in the channel. And he doesn't even have to roll the centre-back this time. He just gets a bit of space, knocks it out of his feet. And he was powerful, wasn't he? He was really quick.
Yeah, he was unlucky not to do better at us, I think. I think injuries, and he just didn't get his chance and whatever else. But he was a good player, good, strong centre-forward. If he got a run of games, maybe he would have had, a better chance. But he was always good at coming on in those games. I remember a couple of European games, actually, where he came on and made a difference as well, in particular.
Runs on.
They're quicker than runs on, like.
But those are the days when we were in Europe every year, And it just felt like that's what we done. We went to Europe. We had we finished, 5th, 6th, whatever. Went to Europe and tried to get a much run as possible in Europe. And you wouldn't have thought those days would come to an end so quickly. And then we wouldn't have another European game for so long after them days. I'd kill for an away game now. Like, I don't know about you, but
well, me and you remember the last time we went away? I think it was actually the last away game we played in Europe. Me and Pricey went to Lyon. Less we say about that, the better. So it was David Unsworth was in charge that night. We got sunk 4-0.
One of the worst performances I've ever seen. Honestly,
it was, yeah.
So terrible.
Anyway, we're not going to look. Thankfully, we're not looking back at that one in history, and we won't be anytime soon. But that was actually the last away game we played in Europe. So that was a disappointing night. But anyway, back to the positivity. Great night that night, and we spoke about Moyes on Tuesday's show, speaking about obviously the proposition, or some fans saying we should have got him back a few years ago. Again, I'm one of them fans, and just to finish this section off, I guess, I'm one of them fans that does appreciate the job he done with us, but I also think that he took us as far as he could at that moment in time, and probably still, I'm not sure he would take us much further than that. But like you said, don't get me wrong, we'd snap your hands off for a little bit of a run like that right now, wouldn't we?
Yeah, or a team like that, a team that was committed as they were, because as I said, that was my favourite team. That just for the commitment that they showed, and obviously a lot of good players in there. You look at Arteta and Pienaar, some skillful players in there as well. But I mean, I just kill for a team like that who was as good as that, but who cared as much as that as well now. But as I say, I'm not getting negative. Let's stick to the positives. It was a good result and a good thing to look back on.
It was 100%. And just for our younger viewers, if you want to check it out, just search for Nuremberg versus Everton. I think there's like a 4-minute highlights on there. You really get a feel for the amount of fans we took over that night, and a feel for the type of team that the Pricey was just describing then. Okay, so moving on to the Reds then. Again, a fond memory for you guys, as we usually pick up on This Week in History, but it was a devastating one for us. It was the first derby that Nick Barmby played for yourselves after making that move across the park, and the final score: Liverpool 3, Everton 1. Phil?
Yeah, we pick our weeks in history carefully, don't we, Terry? We like to stick the knife in as much as we can.
Yeah, but there's more positives than negatives, isn't there, on our side of the park? So normally they're good to look back on.
Yeah, definitely. So 29th of October 2000, as you mentioned, it's a 3-1 victory. But the most significant thing about the game was it was Barmby's first game against Everton. One of the few players over the years who's made the switch across the park. And so, 12 minutes in, wouldn't you know it, proper Everton. Barmby opens his account in derby games. It's Ivan Eder.
It was a belter as well, though, weren't it? Like, because it's funnily enough, if you think back to that game, Gerrard was just coming through, and he was actually playing fullback in that game.
Yeah.
And
wing back, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's playing almost like a wing back. Yeah, and he hits. I think it's a shot, but it takes it like a deflection, doesn't it? And then Barmby just pops up at the back post and puts it in. Absolutely,
it bounced, didn't it? Didn't it bounce and he stooped?
It bobbled up into the air off the shot or the cross. So it's hard to get power, isn't it? Because you want to meet a cross coming at you fast. But obviously the pace got taken off it, so he did well.
Didn't kiss his badge when he scored, did he?
No, to be fair to him, he was quite, as I remember, he's quite reserved in his celebrations. He didn't
I don't remember that. I remember him being pretty jubilant, running to the fans and all that. I don't remember him kissing the badge, but.
Nah, I don't. I'll have to watch it back again, but I seem to remember him being quite sort of.
He'd know better than us, to be fair, Terry, wouldn't he? Probably.
Well, maybe, but obviously it was one of them. I'm not just saying it's like a proper derby. Liverpool sort of won, but I mean, if you remember, derbies, then they always seem to have a bit of a tale of story to them, didn't he? A bit more. So you had Barmby obviously crossing the park, but then at the same time, obviously it ended up 3-1, but you ended up with a sending off, didn't we? It was Gravison, wasn't it, for the third?
Sweeter was through on goal. If you were a Blue, you'd want him to take him out there to work it, you know what I mean? But
he talked about players who cared, and even though he was a bit mad, he cared as well. And he was one of them players who didn't like to other players to get one over on him, and it was a proper foul, wasn't it?
Yeah, just took him out.
But who scored the Everton goal? Was it
Campbell?
Campbell
equalised for us.
Yeah.
Tell you what though, Emileski screamed one in from 30 yards. I can't remember it like exactly how it went in, but I think it was low for some reason.
I think that's what he's done.
I know. I thought you were trying to do a celebration, to be honest.
Yeah.
No, you
Well,
were
he
doing
sort
it
of,
when you
he
were
sort
going
of
like
drills it like low across the floor, doesn't he? And Paul Gerrard
think
takes the
so.
last 6 days to get down.
Yeah.
Oh, Paul Gerrard. Yeah.
Don't. Yeah, I know that would bring them on to pricey, so don't be mentioning Paul Gerrard.
But, I mean,
I was going to say Paddy Berger puts the penalty in, and typical Paddy Berger fashion, it just stayed it. That he's got a great left foot, didn't he?
Yeah, it was a proper clean striker, wasn't it? Like of the ball,
Yeah,
like
power merchant.
Yeah, but it's mad. Like when you think back to that team, because like as I say, Gerrard was playing like fullback, and then the midfield was Haman, Berger, and I think it was Gary McAllister.
I've got it here, yeah. So the full team was Westerveld in goal, Gerrard, as you say, right back, Ziege and Hippier must have been. Actually, I don't know because you've got Ziege, Hippier, and Babel. Wouldn't Babel have been right back?
I'm sure he
he
played wing back.
Left wing back.
I think Ziege was left wing back and Gerrard was right wing back.
Babel in the middle. But then we've got Berger, Haman, McAllister, Barmby, Fowler, and Heskey.
Decent side, to be fair.
The worst team, and to be fair, like
didn't they win the UEFA Cup? That team won the UEFA Cup, didn't they?
Yeah, well, we won the treble, like the 2 cup competitions, didn't we? Domestic and the UEFA Cup. So that was like a brilliant season, and you could sort of see that we were starting to come into form. And to be fair to Barmby, in a weird way, I wasn't like proper made up when we signed him. Another way Everton fans were gutted. For me, I wasn't like sort of thinking, he's going to absolutely change the game for Liverpool or whatever. So, but he did go on a run after that. I remember him sort of after that derby goal.
UEFA Cup, Terry, it was.
It was what? Sorry.
UEFA Cup, scored in like every round.
Yeah. He was a big player for us. He was a good player. Good player. We were good. We had a very poor size that time, and he's had a really good season. The season before, went away with England, and from the outside looking in, I know a lot of stuff has come out since, but to us it just looked like he took his first chance to go to the worst team he could possibly go to. But he was a good player.
Yeah, he did, and he was
obviously a player, wasn't he? Kept his head down, just one of them, professional.
Yeah, and I remember, obviously, I've talked about it on the podcast a couple of times. How that's probably my most memorable season. Even like having seen us win the league and stuff. Now it's still the one that sort of sticks out the most in my mind. I remember him score. He took a penalty in the League Cup, which I was there at the first time being in the Millennium Stadium with my dad, and I was right in the heavens on the top row of the stands, and we were watching the penalties. I remember Barmby took one, but in that same shootout with the one, Carragher took one, and it was like, what's Carragher doing?
Didn't he like the stands?
What's pen? But no, very memorable season for me, as I've said a few times, and obviously, that derby win and Barmby scoring is definitely one to look back on.
Just before we move on, I've got to plug one of our extras as well for the Blues. Michael Ball, it's one of our most listened to podcast extras. So to catch the extras, you can go onto our website, www.crosstheparkpodcast.co.uk. There's a section on there that says extras. The Michael Ball one, he goes into some depth about, the behind the scenes when Nick Barmby did leave, and he was on an England camp with Nick Barmby at the time. Some really good stories about how he treated Barmby while he was away. Very frosty. But yeah, it is interesting, obviously, to hear the players' view, as a lot of those extras are. So check it out if you're a Blue. Really good listen. So moving on, Pricey.
Yeah, we'll go to Who Am I? So this is the part of the show where I ask the Blue half of the show the 5 questions about a Liverpool player. Hopefully getting more easy with each question. He's got to try and guess who that player is before it gets to the last question. And then I ask the same question to the Blue question to the Reds as well to see if they can guess the Everton player. So I've got a couple here. I've got a couple of difficult ones and less difficult ones.
Nick Barmby.
So first one I'll go for is the Liverpool player, to judge you fair. So he cost Liverpool £300,000 in 1991.
Cool. Okay.
He was born in Wrexham in 1971.
71.
Born in Wrexham.
You don't know how hard to do these or how easy to do them, do you, when you're doing the questions? But yeah, born in Wrexham, 1971. Yeah. Won one FA Cup and one League Cup with Liverpool.
Yeah, has it been? Was it 1992? Did you win the FA Cup?
It was would have been 91. I think we played, if I remember rightly, I went to the Charity Shield against Leeds. It was the season before Man U first won the Premier League.
League Cup, did you say, Bracey?
Yeah, one FA Cup, one League Cup.
Bolton in 95, weren't it?
Yeah.
The League Cup. I feel like didn't this play?
I think I know who it is. I just can't remember his name.
Yeah, I do as well.
I know who it is, but I can't remember his name.
I can picture his face.
I think he's a fullback.
Not many Welsh players. I think he was a striker.
Okay, go on, Bracey.
All right, 2 more questions. He made 243 appearances, and his last game was in 1999. Last game for Liverpool was in 1999.
I'm going to kick myself here. I think the Reds don't know either, so... All right,
I think this is an hard one, to be honest. I don't know whether I pitched it too hard.
No, I think it's a good one. It's not, it's not far off our generation either. Probably the time when I watched and studied football most, but I can't think who this person is.
We can come in here, Terry, if Judgy doesn't know.
No, you can come in every time you want, but
I'm just thinking, like...
For the benefit of the viewers and listeners.
So was he Welsh then? Well, obviously he's born in Wales, but do you reckon we think of him as a Welshman? I was thinking Barmby, but obviously that doesn't match with the timeline at all. Not Barmby, sorry. Golf club.
Bellamy.
Not him.
No, nowhere near.
No, it's too early for him, isn't it?
Yeah, well.
So one more question, one more clue. So he was sold to West Ham, where he made no appearances and retired a month later.
Wow.
Jeez.
Made no appearances. He must have been old then. So, but that was 99. So yeah, he must.
All through the 90s.
Go on, Price, who was it?
Rob Jones.
Oh, Rob Jones.
One of your best right backs, isn't he?
He's a Wirral man. I never thought of him as Welsh, but Rob Jones.
Wrexham, yeah.
More Welsh.
Proper careful, like you're thinking about all Welsh players, aren't you?
I reckon there's been a lot of Reds who got that on the first clue. Just from like little
300 grand in 91. Yeah.
Exactly. Bit of like a Seamus Coleman type. We got him for that.
I was only 6 in 1991. I didn't even know what 300 grand was.
I know. I didn't know where that's the thing that goes on. We did too early. Yeah.
I think it was good.
Right. Here's one for the Reds. So this fella was bought by Walter Smith and sold by David Moyes. You won't get him off that, but he was in the Euro 96 and World Cup 98 squad for his country, but didn't play a game.
No. Well, what year? Hang on a minute. When did Moyes take over Everton? Early
2002.
2001, 2002.
So this player's being like 97 to 2003 type years.
I'd imagine he was bought after the Euros, possibly Walter Smith. Yeah, no, probably no, because 97 Kendall was still, and it was in his second spell. That was when we just stayed up against Coventry. Then so Walter Smith took over not long after that. It's been, probably been after 98 we bought him, probably after the World Cup.
All right. These are going to be hard for the Reds because I thought I was pitching this to an Everton thing, but we loaned him out to Preston North End and eventually sold him to Leicester.
I thought you said you went to West Ham.
What?
You're messing. That was
the last
Jones. What one you won?
His first goal for Everton was an outside of the foot volley versus Newcastle. Belter.
Is it a defender?
No, I'll give you this. He's a midfielder. I'll give you another clue that's not on here as well. His our fella played in a World Cup.
His our fella?
His our fella played in a World Cup.
Go on, give him the last one.
Who did you sell him to? Leicester?
Sold him to Leicester. Do you know what judge you know?
I think so.
And he's the current Scotland under-21 head coach. No one knows still. Is this an hard one? It's an hard one, isn't it? Too hard, probably. Scott Gemmell, yeah, well done.
Scott Gemmell.
Scott Gemmell.
Yeah, he was side. I used to call him Sideways, man.
Sideways, yeah. He's a decent player, though. He signed with Kevin Campbell, didn't he? I think he signed in 99 with Kevin Campbell.
Yeah, that was what I was going to say. Remember that spell? They kept us up together. But then we had a spell, I think it was a year later, when we had we were ravaged by injury. And Gemmell hadn't played for ages and came into the team. We beat Chelsea and Arsenal 2-0.
Yeah, I remember that.
Bounce. And Gemmell was brilliant in both games. Came in from the outside.
Yeah.
No, decent player.
Yeah, he's a good player. I like Scott Gemmell. Okay, is that it? One each, done?
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, it was a bit hard, that Everton one, lads. So I'll bear in mind that it's going to Liverpool fans next time.
They found the Liverpool one just as hard.
Yeah,
it was hard.
Another good player, by the way. Rob Jones was a serious player.
Yeah, shame he got injured, didn't he, and have to retire.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't say Gemmell was like to us what Rob Jones was.
No.
Yeah, decent little player though. Anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, Phil finishes off then with higher or lower.
The Nick Barmby theme continues, just to give you a bit more pain. But I'll start with the Blues then. So, Nick Barmby played 119 times for Everton, but did he score more or less than 20 goals?
4 seasons, I think, Nick Barmby. He only really had one good season, didn't he? How many goals, Phil?
Yeah, there was one season when he scored a few.
Yeah.
119 games,
no,
20 goals, I'm giving you.
5 goals a game. 5 goals is 5 goals even. I reckon it was less.
I think he only scored a couple in his first season, if that. I think it was probably about maybe close to 5 in the second season, and there's no way he got 14, 15 in his last 1.5 seasons. I'm going less, yeah.
I'll go less, yeah.
He actually scored 24. There was 18 in the league, 6 in the cups.
Cup games.
I was thinking league.
Do I get a chance for him to try and win?
Yeah, he could have done it. Phil,
you've got the Liverpool question coming up.
Yeah, but I could have got an extra bonus point if I got the Everton one.
For the benefit
Just say,
the Reds are supposed to go first when it's Everton related, and then Everton go next, and then you give us the answer, Phil. We've only been doing it about 6 months, Phil.
It's the Liverpool question. So, Nick Barmby played 58 games for Liverpool, but did he score more or less than 6 goals in that time?
Should we go first then, Terry, this time? Because we should have less knowledge of his time at Liverpool.
6 goals?
Yeah, 58 games.
I'll say more on the basis that you just said that he scored a few in the UEFA Cup that season.
100%, yeah. I'd go with more as well. Terry?
Yeah, I'd say higher. I think he might have scored 8 or 9.
It was 8, yeah. It was 8. Only 2 in the league, 6 in the cups.
Loved 6 in the cup, didn't he?
All right, because I messed that up, we've got a tiebreaker question. So, in total, Nick Barmby played a career total of 490 games, senior games in all competitions. But how many goals did he score? Nearest wins.
How many games?
490.
490, so he scored 24 for us and 8 for Liverpool.
32.
So he couldn't have scored more than 60 goals, could he, altogether?
In a combined 200 games-ish.
Yeah.
So he's got another 200 odd games. He got quite a lot of goals for Middlesbrough and Tottenham. I'd say he was more prolific for them than us, from memory. I think Middlesbrough was probably goal scored in his best spell. And Tottenham, I do remember him being there or thereabouts. I'm going to go with, personally, I reckon it's close. I reckon it's over 60, you know.
Should we say 65 then?
I was 65 and said he's going to do a little last, so I can say 64 or something.
I'm going to go 60.
Oh, Terry. Should have gone the other way, lads. It was actually 80 career goals that he managed.
Impressive.
Does that must be concluded some England goals? Probably scored a few for England, didn't he?
Can't include England goals in that, surely.
Don't think so. think it was close.
He was definitely. I know he was. I do remember him being more prolific for Middlesbrough and Tottenham.
Did he go down the leagues?
Yeah, he played for Hull as well, didn't he?
He did, yeah.
Yeah.
He did.
Yeah. Oh, well.
Good shout.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well, I don't know who won that. The Blues.
Brings to a close, game on for this week. So hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully Phil didn't wreck it for getting it wrong. But again, we'll try and come up with some more content for next week. We'll try and mix it up as much as we can. Sometimes we'll have a longer This Week in History. Sometimes we'll have higher or lower without Who Am I or vice versa. But please let us know which section you enjoyed the most. We'll try and include them more in the future. Thanks again, guys. Catch you all soon.